I got some gaskets here. Gasket kit from Lamborghini. Expensive gaskets. I started with Volvo cars. They were pretty cheap. Then went to Toyota Supras. They were expensive, and now Lamborghini gaskets. They are expensive. Some different kind of gaskets. Some seals. Main seals there, and the valve steam seals. Don't think I'm gonna replace that one, keep it for later. And the good thing about this car is it has originally multi-layer steel gaskets, so that's the same kind I've used before in the Supra. They are usually very strong, so just with a higher clamping force, with the head studs, I think the stock gasket will hold fine. It did hold fine very good in my high horsepower Supra, so I think it will hold nice here as well. Some new bearings going inside the engine here. I used the Lamborghini original parts for the bearings now. Oops. Not the easiest with one hand. This year I'm using the stock main bearing bolts here. It's double of them. I was investigating length and for studs here, so I think maybe next time I tear it apart I will change these out for studs. But there is no kit like ARP or something like that kit for that. Okay, the bottom end is now assembled. The crankshaft is in there. The pistons rods are installed here in the bottom end, and the rings is of course filed to correct gap, and all the bearings are checked. And actually it's the second set of bearings I have for this engine now. The ones I was thinking of first did not go, so it took a little bit of time before I could come to this stage. And I think it's nice to see how tightly packaged this engine is. Like see here the counterweights on the crankshaft, the nice it's nice engineering on this engine. Going to install this shaft here. It's the shaft from the rear to the front wheel drive. I can show one cool thing I think is cool here. Some nice engineering. This bearing housing for this this shaft here is not just a bearing housing. As you can see, it's pretty big housing here. It is also a water passage. So the water is coming from the engine here, through here, into here, and here you can see this water passage going here and around this bearing, and here is some reinforcement, and then it goes here. I like that kind of engineering where you can combine two functions into one basically, and don't have more material than you need to have. In the sump here, this is a dry sump engine, and it has all the passages to the oil sump into here from the rear of the engine. You can see it's coming here. Here are some passages here, and yeah, some here. I think these are from the heads coming and going to the pump here, to the suction side of the pump. 2 stages on the pump there. And also you can see here I have a plug now. This is a drain to drain the oil when you replace oil, but I figured out that it could be a good place to put the return oil from the turbos. So this now it's a little bit of suction there, and the return from the turbos are going into there, so it's going to be a hose into there. So if you're building a turbo kit, it's a good place. I looked for places to put the return oil, if I should put it directly to the oil tank or something like that, but then I found out that maybe here could be a good place. And afterwards I have seen turbo kits like the American manufacturers, they put the return here as well. As far as I know, it's working good. I also have a pressure sensor on this to see the pressure or on the return lines under 100 kPa absolute pressure, so it's suction there. That's good. Here on the block, actually this is the cylinder. It's very thin here, and inside, just a little bit inside here, it's my steel sleeves. Here in the bottom, it's no water cooling, so very thin here, no material that doesn't need to be there. And here you can see the water is starting, so it's water in the top of the cylinder and in the cylinder head, of course. And here is some oil channels from the return oil from the cylinder heads. But it's nice to see this some strengthenings, but yeah, no material that doesn't need to be there. Even if this is a production engine, it's yeah, it's still good. And yeah, these are going to the front wheels. For last couple of years my car has been rear wheel drive only. I converted it when I lived in Dubai, and with a standard 530 horsepower, this car is more fun rear wheel drive than four wheel drive, I think, when you're driving on dry tarmac roads. But now I will put the four-wheel drive back again on the car to be able to utilize the power, the turbo power on the streets. That is actually one of the reasons I sold the Supra and went to this platform, because it was four-wheel drive, so I can get better traction on street roads. The Supra, on the drag strip, it was possible with the slicks to get good traction, but on the streets it was very hard with street tires. This one I can still have these street tires. They are Toyo R888s, and with those and four-wheel drive, I think I can put down pretty decent of power, and yeah, still go very fast on the streets. So yeah, maybe not from a dead stop, but from a rolling start and from speed. I think it's gonna be a good platform to go very fast. one head installed, and next to come. This year I'm gonna use completely stock heads. I think they are pretty good from the beginning, so in the future maybe they will be ported, but maybe other valves. I've not been looking into that area yet, because I think they're pretty good. And to see the port, this is completely stocked. It's no magic, but it is a little bit grinded by hand, and the valve guide is cut. There you can see. So yeah, pretty nice intake ports to be completely stocked there. I have now removed the engine from the stand, so I can get access here in the front of the engine and to install some water pump stuff and water pipes and this belt. Reading here in the maintenance manual about the belt, it should be tightened to 140 Hertz plus minus 4, and I actually don't have a sensor for measuring this, but I found an app on App Store, Continental app for this thing, so let's try it. I don't know how good it is. I will give it a try and maybe do some investigation if this is a good alternative to a real tool. Okay, test. We have 76 Hertz, so we need to tighten it. Test again. 135. So just a little bit more. 140 was our goal. $137. Yeah, I think it's almost good. $137 again. So yeah, it's within limits there, and it is consistent on this app. So yeah, good thing I think this for an iPhone Continental app. All right, the engine is almost finished, I think, to put into the car. I will lift first the engine and gearbox a little later on. Wiring is installed, and the alternator, some stuff there. And one question I have got a couple of times is that, is this an Audi engine? And the answer is kind of, but this engine you can never find in an Audi. Lamborghini, the brand, was bought by Volkswagen Group 1998. So 10 years before this car was built. In 1998 they also bought Bentley and Bugatti. So they bought some nice brands that year. And what happened when Volkswagen Group got Lamborghini was that it got some German Deutschen engineering. So that's actually a good thing. The cars got better. I think Lamborghini has had many ups and downs in years before, and maybe some quality problems. But after the Germans came in, the quality got better, and Lamborghini had been a more solid company after that, I think. Yeah, this engine, this 5-liter even fire V10 with the port injection. This engine is only found in these 2004 to 2008 Gallardos. You cannot find them in anything else. The parts on this engine is, I think it's a mix with the Volkswagen Group designed and parts that maybe you can find also in other Volkswagen engines, but some of it is just purely Lamborghini. Some you can see here it's made in Italy. Alternator here is Bosch. This one, the block here, it's made in Germany, but it doesn't have any Audi stamps on. Let's see what's more. This one, Italy. I think Italy maybe. Part here, Toro. It's made in Italy. These heads, I think only you can find on this car. But the design, everything in the valve train, yeah, here maybe you can see the throttle bodies. It says an Audi here. Also, yeah, everything inside here is very similar. All the chains and everything is very similar to many Audi engines. So it's a very nice piece, this engine. But the next engine that is in the newer Lamborghinis is the 5.2 liter engine. That one is an odd fire and direct injected engine. That one is the same as is in the Audi R8 V10 model. So that Lamborghini is the same in the Audi, and also the RS6 model looks a little bit similar, but that one is turbocharged and yeah, not as nice as the Lamborghini or the R8 engine. There's also in Audi S6 and V10, and that one looks a little bit more different, not as sporty as these Lamborghini engines. So yeah, it's kind of an Audi engine, but this one in particular, the first Lamborghini V10, you cannot find in any other car than the Gallardo. Also here on the car, it is a lot of Audi components, Volkswagen Group parts. So yeah, it mix of Lamborghini and Volkswagen parts. And that's actually one thing that several people, when they found out that maybe, yeah, here we have the air conditioning unit or the navigation here, the stereo. When it comes from an Audi, or they say, oh, it's the same as in the S6 or something like that, A6 maybe even. They say, oh, it's it's a fake Lamborghini or something like that. That it's a bad thing. That it's not Lamborghini parts, but actually I think it's and that's good thing. That keeps the development costs down on the car. That they can use good quality parts, because Audi is good parts. If something breaks, I can maybe find them in any other Audi, and that's also cheaper than Lamborghini parts. And yeah, the quality of them are very good. You can drive them for many thousands of miles or kilometers. There is a lot of Audi parts in this one mix here, and Audi makes good cars. Let's look about this one. Let's see. So for me, I did not buy this car because it says Lamborghini here. I could have bought an Audi R8 for example, and I was a little bit into the R8 for some time, but I a little bit more like this one. I like the design, the design of the Gallardo, more wedge, the style that it got from, yeah, maybe the Countach, and the style of it. So I think some Italian design, German engineering, and yeah, of course Italian engineering as well. And the good thing that with all these Audi parts in the car is that it gets more affordable. So people like me, normal hardworking airplane mechanic, can get one of these cars. Now it's Italian, German and some Swedish turbo system made by me, Sweden, and built the engine with some parts in it that are built in Sweden, the connecting rods for example. The engine bay gets wider, more front. The engine comes, you can see here it's very tight. Really tight here on this side as well. By the way, sorry for the bad finish of this header heat insulation. I will do something better in the future. Here also, it cannot go any more in the front because the water pipe will hit the firewall. Okay, I could just put in my turbo system and have the car ready to go on the road pretty quickly, but I will do a little bit of modification of some of the oil system and some other parts for the engine. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see my progress of the Lamborghini turbo build here. Thanks for watching.